Satoshi Nakamoto published the Bitcoin whitepaper on October 31, 2008. Many people that are drawn to the technology have wondered if that was intentional or not. At the time, the world was in shambles. The Great Recession was in full force, opening a window into the financial schemes our entire world was built on. Many people during this time were angry, looking for a seemingly impossible solution to a global problem that would only get worse. But enough of that. Today we are honoring Satoshi with a fictitious story, a coming-of-age story that enlightened him to pursue the values of truth, meaning, and a love of all people. People he helped escape the clutches of their overbearing overlords. Without further ado, we bring you into Satoshi's world, a world shrouded by dust and debris. In a modest, ramshackle house nestled on the outskirts of the city, a family huddled together, clutching at the remnants of their dwindling hope. Among them was young Satoshi, a boy with eyes that had already seen too much. The family's only source of light was a flickering candle, illuminating the room with a feeble, wavering glow. Satoshi's big sister, Aiko, clutched him tightly. For Satoshi, it was a night of palpable fear, knowing that the Coin Stranglers would soon arrive at their doorstep. His parents, their faces etched with anxiety, whispered tales of those who had been taken away, never to return. They spoke in hushed tones, afraid that the very walls had ears. The silence was shattered by a haunting sound. Every member of the family stiffened, their hearts pounding in their chests. In the doorway, shrouded in sinister cloaks and grotesque masks, stood the Coin Strangler and his gaggle of disturbed bankers. Their eyes glinted malevolently from behind their disguises, and the air grew heavy with a wretched stench that filled the room. They had come, as they did every year on this night of horrors, to exact their price. Aiko stepped forward, her voice trembling but defiant, as she handed a bag of meager coins to the lead strangler. It was their inflation tax, a cruel and unjust tribute demanded by the central Coin Stranglers. But tonight it was different. The Coin Strangler, driven by his insatiable greed, gestured to Alice with a gloved hand. "Your firstborn," he hissed, his voice like a venomous snake. It was a demand that had become all too common in this world. If a family couldn't pay the inflation tax, they were forced to surrender a beloved child, never to see them again. Satoshi watched in horror as his sister Aiko was torn from their embrace, her screams echoing in his ears. She cast one last tearful glance at him, a plea for him to remember her. The Coin Strangler dragged her into the night, and Satoshi's world shattered. This was the nightmare that haunted Satoshi's every waking moment, the night that changed his life forever. As the Coin Strangler retreated into the darkness, a burning ember of rebellion ignited within him, a spark that would one day blaze into a fierce, unrelenting fire. Satoshi vowed that he would find a way to defy the Coin Strangler and his propensity to prey on the poor. To do this, Satoshi would soon organize an underground alliance. It is here that the young Satoshi met a curious lad named Hal Finney, who would become instrumental in Satoshi's plan. Little did Satoshi know that with these brave souls, his journey would lead him to discover something extraordinary, something that would become the key to their salvation and lay the foundation to tear down the oppressive regime that held their world captive. Satoshi's world was a place where the sky had turned perpetually gray, an ashen canvas devoid of sunlight. The Coin Strangler had cast a shadow over every aspect of society, imposing a rigid order where the wealthy prospered while the destitute languished in despair. A once vibrant cityscape was now a monochromatic maze of towering buildings, a testament to the Stranglers' relentless pursuit of power. The inflation tax loomed over them like a grim reaper, ready to claim the lives of those who could not pay. Halloween had become the most dreaded night, a symbol of terror for all. With cold, mechanical precision, the Coin Stranglers went door to door, extracting the inflation tax, tearing families apart, and plunging them into darkness. Now that his sister had been taken, Satoshi was safe for one more year. Yet despite that consolation, his heart raced. He had heard rumors of a secret network of shadow children, those who dared to resist the bank's iron grip. In the recesses of his curious mind, he wondered if there was a way to escape the insidious clutches of the Coin Stranglers. The stolen children underwent a nightmarish transformation. They were subjected to a malevolent, hypnotic indoctrination designed to strip away their humanity and compassion. These young minds were molded into obedient servants of the Emperor of the Coin, each child learning how to wrangle and strangle the inflation tax out of the very own families they had been ripped from, ensuring the oppressive regime's continuity. For those who managed to keep their children but fell into the ever-widening chasm of poverty, life was a relentless struggle. The Coin Stranglers perpetuated a society where the wealthy thrived while the impoverished languished. The majority of the population lived in squalor, their lives overshadowed by hunger, sickness, and hopelessness. The Coin Stranglers' influence controlled the flow of information and stifled dissent. Surveillance drones patrolled the skies, monitoring every movement. Anyone caught questioning the system or attempting to organize resistance disappeared into the darkness, never to be seen again. People lived in a state of economic serfdom, toiling endlessly for meager wages, while the Stranglers reaped the rewards. Generations were born into servitude, and the concept of upward mobility became a distant memory. The Stranglers, driven solely by profit, ravaged the environment. Pollution choked the air, and once thriving ecosystems lay in ruins. The earth itself groaned under the weight of unchecked corporate greed. It was within this nightmarish dystopia that Satoshi grew up, witnessing firsthand the horrors inflicted upon his society. His journey to unite the Shadow Children and stand up to the Coin Stranglers was a desperate response to the struggles and human rights violations exerted upon families in need. Luckily for Satoshi, hope glimmered in the form of a new type of energy, an innovation that would serve as a beacon of defiance against the darkness that had engulfed the world. Satoshi's quest for freedom led him into uncharted digital territory. He embarked on a journey into the depths of the digital abyss, a world hidden beneath layers of encryption and secrecy. With Hal Finney by his side, they navigated through the virtual maze of the dark web, a place where digital outlaws and renegades congregated, each with their own vendettas against the Coin Stranglers. Through encrypted channels and clandestine forums, they discovered the existence of the Shadow Children, children that had escaped from the clutches of the Coin Stranglers' indoctrination. These were the brave souls who had evaded the Stranglers' grasp, living in the shadows, transmitting messages of defiance to one another using an enigmatic wavelength of light. This secret network was their lifeline, a thread connecting them in their fight for liberation. Satoshi and Hal made contact with the Shadow Children. Their meetings were covert, held in the digital realms that were invisible to the watchful eyes of the Stranglers. The Shadow Children, like Satoshi, were dreamers of a world free from oppression. They saw the potential for change, a spark of rebellion that could ignite a revolution. But what could they do against the overwhelming might of the Stranglers? In his quest for knowledge, Satoshi stumbled upon a forgotten scientific experiment, a theory from the late 20th century. About the transmission of energy through the use of the very wavelength of light the Shadow Children were already using to communicate. By linking several different inventions together, Satoshi had his lightbulb moment. This new invention, called the beam, carried the power to transmit messages and value without detection by the Stranglers. Satoshi and Hal, along with the Shadow Children, hatched a daring plan. They would harness this newfound energy, not for destruction but for liberation. It would become their secret weapon, a means to unite all Shadow Children and broadcast their message to the world. Satoshi, Hal, and their growing alliance set to work. They crafted a code that would utilize this hidden energy source and thus ensure a future where truth in information was absolute. Satoshi knew that their journey had just begun, and the world above ground was about to witness the birth of a new era, one based on truth that could grow undetected by the Coin Stranglers' many spies. This newfound technology became their secret weapon, a signal of hope. Satoshi and Hal, and later All those who joined their cause used this ethereal light to communicate. Few shadow children knew of it at first, but as the years passed, it spread like wildfire through the virtual veins of the underground. The discovery of this revolutionary force had far-reaching consequences that would ultimately challenge the dominion of Stranglers and the Coin Emperor himself. Satoshi realized that the key to overthrowing the Coin Emperor lay in this enigmatic technology. The beam's unique properties allowed for a decentralized communication network. Messages encoded in Morse code could be transmitted through this new wavelength of light by being cast into the sky at night, invisible to the prying eyes of the Coin Stranglers. The Shadow Children began to share information, organize resistance, and coordinate actions in ways that were previously unthinkable. The network expanded exponentially. Even those who had once been loyal to the Coin Emperor started questioning their allegiance, and dissent simmered beneath the surface. One of the most significant impacts of the beam was its ability to undermine the Coin Stranglers' economic control. Satoshi and his allies developed a parallel economy fueled by the beam's energy. It operated beyond the reach of the Stranglers, allowing trade and commerce to thrive. People began to discover this alternative to the oppressive and highly censored system that had enslaved them for generations. Satoshi's invention didn't stop at communication and value. It gave birth to a digital renaissance. Innovations flourished as individuals liberated from the Coin Stranglers' control turned their creativity towards solving the world's problems. Decentralized technologies and renewable energy solutions proliferated, gradually healing the planet and lifting the sky from the polluted darkness that had previously encapsulated the Earth. Over time, the beam became a symbol of hope and resistance. The world saw a resurgence of civic engagement, grassroots movements, and a hunger for knowledge. The old power structures started to crumble. Coin Stranglers lost their grip on nations as the beacon's light dismantled their financial infrastructure. The Coin Emperor had to adapt to a new reality where the people held the keys to their own destiny, keys that no one could ever physically take from them. Satoshi's legacy transcended his own existence. He became an icon, a symbol of resilience against insurmountable odds. His vision of a decentralized world had become a reality. The people had taken back control, and so Satoshi and Hal's legend grew, a story of courage, unity, and the triumph of the human spirit. The Shadow Children became a beacon of hope in the darkest of times, and a decentralized society began to take shape. Satoshi's journey had ignited a revolution that changed the course of history, allowing humanity to finally break free from the tyranny that had plagued it for so long. As Halloween nights passed, children gathered around campfires whispering old stories of the Coin Stranglers and their previous unwavering wrath over society. The newest children shuddered from these tales, terrified from the memories when a fundamental freedom of communication and value did not exist for all people on Earth. If you want to hear more stories like this, please like and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to hit the bell icon to be notified about more stories every week. Thanks for watching.